This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Missy Kohler. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson. News 25 is also brought to you by Silver State Health, Pahrumps exclusive pediatric care clinic. Call 775-505-1214 for an appointment.
Happy Wednesday, April 21st. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
Hi there, I'm Missy Kohler. Thanks for joining us on Ace Country Radio and KPVM News 25.
Well, County Manager Tim Sutton presented the Nye County Mitigation and Enforcement Plan to the commissioners at the April 20th meeting. The plan was reviewed and approved by both School Superintendent Dr. Warren Schillenberg and CEO of Desert View Hospital, Susan Davila.
Commissioners, most of which were not wearing masks, had an opportunity to review the plan. Commissioner Strickland summarized it by saying that this will put everything back to normal. No sanitizing, no social distancing, and no masks. Any mention of a mask mandate in the document was completely stricken. Sutton reminded the commissioners of the state's position.
So the state's position is that the counties do not have the authority to pass any resolution on the mask mandate, so they won't recognize anything. I've also been advised by council that the action taken by the board at the last meeting as it pertains to the mask mandate was void and of none effect.
While public comment gave encouragement for complete removal of the mask mandate, those that commented also wanted to be sure the county would be legally defended from any actions the state could take.
That being said, the protection that the DEA, I think, has provided gives us some sort of fallback position from a protection standpoint. Would that be accurate?
Actually, I'm glad that came up. Commissioner Carboni asked me a question whether I would defend the commissioners, and yeah, I would, except I'm not sure, but if there's a thing where it's the Attorney General doing the suing, then that's could be a potential situation where it's going to limit my ability to do that. So I gave a general answer, which is, yeah, generally that's what I would do, but if there could be specific circumstances where, where that might not apply. We're kind of in uncharted waters here, especially given the fact that my legal opinion was disregarded completely, which means that even if I am defending, I might not have very much of a defense. I don't know, but like I said, it's kind of uncharted waters.
The position that you have as commissioners, I highly recommend that you listen to the district attorney. When you discussed this at the last meeting, he told you specifically he did not support this type of resolution, and you were told it could be dangerous. Even Mr. Carboni made the statement, be careful what you do, or I believe it was careful what you ask for. But I really beseech you, be careful, because there's so many ways that this can come back and bite our community.
The plan will still need approval from the state, and Sutton reminded the commissioners of what the governor said about the individual mitigation plans that would be submitted from counties.
Directive 44, which is the newest one that just came out, makes clear that if any provision of a local plan adopted by a county conflicts with the required statewide mitigation measures, such as the mandated face coverings per Directive 24, that provision is void. So I can tell you, in viewing some of the task force and the approvals of various other plans that have come forward, there are a couple of counties that have said, hey, we're not going to listen to the mask mandate. So whether we put it in or take it out, it really doesn't matter. The state's not going to recognize it.
The commissioners moved forward and approved the plan that will now be submitted to the state COVID-19 Mitigation and Management Task Force on April 22nd. You can watch the plan presentation on the Nevada Health Response YouTube channel.
The Nye County Sheriff's Office is investigating a 3-vehicle crash that happened Wednesday morning at the intersection of Center Street and 2nd Street. A man driving a blue Crown Victoria sedan, which was involved in the crash, describes what happened.
So I was coming down 2nd Street, and this lady pulled out on Center going the other way, and she ran her stop sign, and I ended up hitting the rear end of her. Whenever I spun her around, because it hit the rear end of her car, it spun her around, and it hit the front of their car, and then she either tried to leave, or I don't know what she was doing, but she was going across the street with no tire. I got hit with the airbag. I mean, I'm feeling a little bit of pain, like not like severe or anything. I just have a little bit of like numbness.
The driver told News 25 he was headed to the hospital so that doctors could diagnose his chest pain. No other injuries have been reported.
Well, a box truck driver accused of killing 5 bicyclists from Las Vegas last year has pled guilty to 2 counts of driving under the influence, resulting in death. Jordan Barson, who is 45, of Arizona, was driving an Isuzu box truck on U.S. Highway 95 about 60 miles south on Las Vegas in December of 2020 as he approached a group of cyclists being escorted by another vehicle. The cyclists were taking part in an annual 130-mile ride. Barson struck the group traveling behind the escort vehicle. 7 cyclists were thrown from their bikes and 5 were pronounced deceased on scene. Barson was not injured. Barson was found to have methamphetamine in his system at the time. Sentencing for Barson will begin on June 9th. We'll have more after this break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest-reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Thanks for staying with us. Regulators in Europe say they'll continue to offer patients the J&J vaccine. Rite Aid says sales are dropping because masks are better protecting people from the flu and colds, and Apple rolls out new devices.
Here's Angela Miles with today's Business First Brief.
Topping our news, the European Medicine Agency says the benefits of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine outweigh possible links to rare blood clot incidents. It's still being investigated in the U.S. J&J reports the COVID vaccine generated $12 billion in revenue. That's a 9.6% increase compared to last year. The drug maker is known for its single-shot vaccine. Mask wearing due to the pandemic is creating a not-so-healthy profit for Rite Aid. The pharmacy chain reports a 37% drop in sales as fewer people are getting the flu and colds. Apple is displaying some new products. This week, the tech giant showed off a redesigned iMac that has a slimmer look. There's also an Apple Silicon chip and an Apple AirTag, a gadget that tracks lost devices, available April 30th. Netflix topped Wall Street's revenue expectations at $7.16 billion.
Thanks, Angela. Well, the Nevada Department of Transportation will be performing pavement upgrades along an 8-mile-long section of north and southbound U.S. Highway 95 between Mercury at exit 136 and State Route Highway 160 from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. daily, May 4th through May 6th in Nye County. U.S. Highway 95, as a result, will be reduced to 1 travel lane through the work area with a flagging and pilot car operation safely chaperoning vehicles through the construction zone. Motorists can expect up to 30-minute travel delays, and they should use caution while traveling through the work zone, heed construction signage, and take alternate detour routes if possible.
Pahrump Valley Little League is scrambling to make alternate arrangements for dozens of upcoming games. The Pahrump Balloon Festival is taking over Ian Deutsch Memorial Park this year, and that's leaving the league and more than 250 players without a place to play.
The biggest problem is they told us that it was going to be April 29th through May 2nd. And then now it's turned out from April 23rd to May 3rd, and that's a big dip in our financial revenue from the Snack Shack. The Snack Shack keeps everything running because we are a 501c. We don't have COVID funds. We don't have a lot of money. And our revenue is going to be literally nothing for 2 weeks. They won't let us run our Snack Shack, even during the Balloon Festival, which we thought we could maybe compromise and do that, but they won't let us do that. So for 2 weeks, we're going to be out. We pay for umpires, we pay for fees, insurance, and everything with the Snack Shack money. So for 2 weeks, we have no money coming in. So it's going to be really hard on us.
And if they would have communicated with us in advance, we could have worked with them, because none of us want to fight the Balloon Festival. We all want it to be part of us. But with no communication, it's hard for 2 entities to work in the same space to make the same goal of having people come down. Normally, you would think the Park Advisory Committee or one of the other advisory committees that rules on the use of the parks would have communicated like they do at the rodeo arena and said to the organizations, hey, this event's coming in, is there something we can do to work together and move the dates around?
It's not that we don't want this community event, we do. We all need this. But why couldn't they wait till May 1st when we were almost done with our season? So, you know, we have 256 kids, 22 teams, that's over 33 games we have to reschedule. And that's a lot, and a lot of kids might be missing out on All-Stars, which is what they play for all year long.
They could submit for a venue change. I have talked to the COVID guys over there at the state. and either one of us could submit to it. We don't have enough information from the county to submit for our COVID plan change because the county has not given us, or the town has not given us enough information for it to be submitted. The Pahrump Valley Balloon Fest could have done it or pushed back a week and had no restrictions with the new governor mandates that are going into effect the 1st.
I'm totally for the Balloon Festival. I absolutely love events. I'm a big supporter of them all. I take my kids to them every year. But baseball, there's all these kids out here that have come out here to play baseball. They play every year. And we play on these fields every single year. Last year we didn't have that because of COVID. Then they're finally back out here. They haven't had school. They haven't had any kind of sports. They haven't had any communication with their friends. So they finally get out here to come and play. And now all of a sudden their season's being shortened just by a couple of weeks, which a couple of weeks is a big deal for these kids.
We're having games right now through Thursday. I've contacted the county manager, been in contact with him about the emails that we had sent for the emergency meeting today. We tried to get it for Friday, but they do not have staffing to run a public meeting on Friday because I guess there's only 2 people that can run the public meeting system. So they're having to push it to Monday. And as of about 2 o'clock this afternoon, actually it was about 2:55 this afternoon, I've been playing email or phone tag with Tim Sutton, the county manager, about trying to create the special meeting for Monday.
There really isn't any other options, and the problem is, like I said, we are 501c. We had to come out of our pocket. The league president, myself, had to come out of our pocket to pay for temporary fencing. Well, we don't have that kind of money. They do. Why didn't they have to get temporary fencing? That's what I don't understand.
Road League says they're waiting to hear back from the county about a league's request for a special meeting. Meantime, County Manager Tim Sutton issued a statement saying, quote, "Though we try hard to accommodate all requests for field allocations, we simply do not have sufficient space for all of our clubs and organizations. Because of this, smaller events routinely get bumped for larger ones, and all applicants are aware of this unfortunate reality." Sutton goes on to say, "We are working hard to try to accommodate the Little League at other locations before their scheduled event." And we'll be right back with more News 25.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by Canyon Ridge Periodontics. Give them a call at 702-966-0302.
Welcome back. Well, we are well aware that wearing a face mask can reduce the spread of COVID-19. But did you know it may help your allergies too? A recent study suggests using a face mask may reduce allergy symptoms.
Masks can actually cover your nose and mouth, and that's usually the way that we get all the pollen into ourselves, and it can cause all of the symptoms of itchy eyes, itchy nose, stuffy nose, dripping and draining. And so if we cover our face, our nose, and our mouth, it protects us from getting some of that pollen into us.
Israeli researchers surveyed nurses with allergies during spring allergy season. The nurses wore 2 types of masks, a surgical mask or an N95 mask. Results show nasal allergy symptoms decreased when wearing either kind of a mask. They suggest a mask can filter allergens and prevent people from inhaling them, therefore reducing symptoms. While this study looked at masks used in a hospital setting, Dr. Hong suspects a cloth mask may also provide some protection.
They did use kind of the surgical masks, and they did use some of the N95, so they've got a tighter weave than cloth masks, but absolutely the cloth mask should be able to help with at least some of it.
If you typically get itchy eyes during allergy season, Dr. Hong says wearing eyeglasses may help. She says glasses also offer some protection from direct pollen exposure.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
John Kohler staring out the KPVM weather window. It's Pahrump Valley High School's cam. Puffy clouds today, beautiful skies. I'll tell you about the weather here in just a second.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. And look at these Wednesday weather scores. Fernley, Fallon, Carson City, you're 66 to 69 degrees. Tonopah, Goldfield, 57 degrees for a high today. Somebody left the fridge open. Here's Beatty at 71. Amargosa feeling just perfect, about 75 degrees. I don't think you can get a much better day than that. Vegas, you're up to 79 degrees. Death Valley down about 10 degrees from yesterday at 88 for a high. And here in the Paradise Perp, where the air is pure, the grass is green, and all the girls can do math in their head, at 74 degrees. That's down from 75. Our high this afternoon, and the winds hitting us from the west-southwest to 15 miles per hour. Felt all right compared to a couple days ago. Sun rose this morning at 6:02 a.m. It'll set this evening about 7:23. There'll be some clouds. It'll be some beautiful colors this evening. Check that out as we experience the weather temperature dropping down to 51 degrees as we approach morning. Humidity at 33%. And I think that'll be dissipating because, look, tomorrow, no clouds Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday, looks like the clouds are going to be stalking us in for the weekend. Also accompanied by some significant wind, 23 mile per hour average gusts, as the high temperatures will approach about 82 and 75 degrees this weekend, dipping all the way down to 63 come Monday, and then we'll have a gradual return to normalcy over here at, end up at 82. It'll be pretty good week, interesting times. Look for the wind this weekend, and other than that, that's your report. Back to the desk, it's Missy, Indiana.
Things are heating up in the desert, and that's good because Burning Man Festival may be coming up. Organizers have said that they are considering requiring attendees to prove they have been vaccinated for COVID-19 if the organizers move forward with plans to hold this year's countercultural festival in the Nevada desert. That decision will be made at the end of the month. The event was canceled last year because of the pandemic. The annual event that draws more than 80,000 people to the Black Rock Desert, about 100 miles north of Reno. The group is deciding if mandatory vaccinations will be part of the health and safety plan they must submit to the state and county officials. Organizers also have not decided whether to require or provide COVID testing at the event, which they hope to put a cap on 65,000 attendees.
And Nye County is now offering help with public for rent, mortgage, and utility assistance. For that application, you just need to go to nyecounty.net. And this is COVID related. You have to meet the qualifications, which is you're either behind on your rent, mortgage, or utilities, or at least two of those, right? And so if you want to apply for that, it has to be COVID related due to loss of income. You can go to nyecounty.net, give them a call, 775-751-7095 if you need more information or help filling out that application. And we do want to update you a little bit on the China Gate Ranch fire, and of course that was extinguished on Sunday morning. It did rekindle yesterday. Front Valley Fire and Rescue did send a water tender out there in the southern Inyo Nye County Fire District, of course, saving them once again from any of damage and further extensions. And it is closed today, but they'll be reopening soon, and hopefully that fire will be contained and won't rekindle. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
I'm Missy Kohler. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.
Good night.